So, the other day, I was talking to this lady, this woman, and we were having a deep conversation back and forth. Just at a park, talking about state of reality, I guess. And she was telling me, after we were midway through a conversation, hey, you're a really wise guy. You seem to have such good self awareness of your problems. You're able to pinpoint every single area where you've had this problem, where it came from. And it got me thinking, I'm not a wise guy, but where did that self awareness come from? How do I know about my problems and how do I know exactly where they came from? And thinking about it, it came down to the fact that I can sit down with my thoughts. I don't need to constantly be stimulating my mind, my ears, whatever it is. I can just sit down with absolutely nothing, just think about what's going on in my life, where my problems are coming from, why I'm struggling with this, or what I can do to kind of solve this problem that I have. And I think this is a severely underrated skill that most people don't have in today's society. How often do you go to the gym and see everybody with earpods in all the time, never taking it out, always listening to something, never having a moment to just sit down by themselves and think about what it's like in the gym or look around at the world around them? I think it's kind of rare to see that these days, but just being able to sit down with your thoughts has kind of revolutionized how I think, how I approach my problems, how I get better. But talking with a friend about this yesterday, we were in the car, we hung out, we are just chilling, talking, have a deeper conversation. This topic came up again, and what we kind of discussed was that most people aren't able to look inside themselves because they're kind of scared. They're kind of desperate to avoid these feelings within themselves, so they seek external stimulation, music, television, their phone, social media, TikTok, Instagram, all these sort of things, this digital world, social media, to kind of drown themselves in something else so they don't have to think about what they are like inside. And I'm not just saying this from, oh, that's what these people are going through. I went through it. Back during COVID, I've said this multiple times. I was addicted to porn, I was addicted to video games. And just trying to look inside me and process why I'm like this, why I feel so much pain, why I need to do these disgusting habits. It came down to the fact like I couldn't even look myself within me. I had to do those things because if I looked within me, I'd feel such crushing shame, such crushing fear, disgust of who I am that I wouldn't even be able to like manage myself. Those habits, those bad habits, those overstimulation was an escape from myself. But the issue with that is you can never actually escape who you are. You will never be happy if you take yourself around with you. And that's where so many of these issues come from. Why do people feel like they're not getting better? Because you're not confronting your inner problems. You're just facing and chasing stuff that other people have put out for you. You think you want this because other people want it, but you're not actually asking yourself, what do I want in life? Like, what's important to me, right? And if you never have the capacity to self reflect, you're never actually tackling the deep, dark problems within you, kind of limiting your ability to grow. Because no matter how successful you get, no matter how much you achieve, you are still going to struggle with these things inside you if you don't take care of them, right? So that beggars the question, how do you get started? How do you start confronting your thoughts, confronting the emotions within you, start changing for the better? And I want to say, this is a long process. This takes time, this takes effort. You don't not suddenly get this after a month of doing a few random tricks and tips or whatever it is. This takes time. But what you need to do is you need to acclimate your mind to being used to just thoughts in general. This comes with meditation. Meditating every single day for at least like 15 minutes once you build up to it just gives your mind mental processing time. You think about what you're doing. You are basically bombarded with your thoughts in your brain constantly without end. And your only goal is just stand still within it to kind of face the onslaught and stand firm like, within it, right? Because you're always going to get distracted in your mind. You're going to find your attention pulled off in random streams of whatever it is. And it's going to be brutally difficult. But that's what people don't understand. It's gonna be difficult. You're trying to heal, and healing is not, yo, this is easy. It's all rainbows and daisies. Like, no, healing is difficult. It's difficult for a reason because it takes time to undo all this inner trauma, inner fear, anxiety, pain that you have within you. So starting with meditation, to just kind of acclimate your mind to start listening to your thoughts is critical. I made a previous video on meditation, but I'll go over the mindful meditation framework right here. First step is to sit down, crisscross applesauce, close your eyes, focus on the sound of your breathing. The second step is to have your thought snagged away by something that popped up in your head and you lose attention of the present moment. The third step is to realize you lost attention of the present moment. Fourth step is to come back to the sound of your breathing and repeat the process all over again. Start with that for 5 minutes, keep it consistent, build it up to 10 to 15, and when you do it, when you just focus on your meditation, when you focus on being mindful, thoughts are going to pop up. You're going to get distracted. You're going to start getting awareness of what you're thinking, how you're thinking, patterns of things that are naturally popping up more and more. And you're going to get comfortable with realizing what your problems are, what your tendencies are, what your triggers are within you. And to pair something with meditation is a journaling habit, which you can do right after you meditate. Because journaling is a distillation of your thoughts, of your unordered mind, putting it down on paper. You are taking your mind, which is messy and cluttered and everything in between, and ordering your thoughts onto the page with each line you write. Doing these two things together trains your mind to process what is going on in there. It eliminates the need for you to be constantly stimulated and allows you to actually think things through within your life, to acknowledge the problems and triggers and anxiety, whatever you have within you, and formulate some sort of thoughts and opinions and ways to actually change that. The third thing following these two is reading nonfiction books, because nonfiction books provide you a framework and a guide to tackle the problems you have within yourself, to give you a framework to change and change for the better, you know? No More Mr. Nice Guy by Dr. Robert Glover is the #1 self-improvement book that I've ever read. It talks about how to change your entire life from being a nice guy to achieving what you want in life. For me, that resonated with my inner problems, the things I struggled with. That was the right book for me. But it may not be the right book for other people because everybody has different problems. So finding nonfiction books that interest you and pertain to the problems that you have is a very, very efficient way to solve your problems. To not fix yourself, but to accept what happened to you, have a framework for change, and become the person that you want to be. When you have the ideas, when you have the baseline understanding before you, you need to find a real friend to explain this with. When you have deeper thoughts, when you're disconnected from the overstimulation of music, screens, basically that's actually really it, but when you disconnect from that overstimulation of the world around us, and you just sit down with a friend and talk about your deeper thoughts, when you expand on what you've learned, you deepen your understanding, you get your thinking challenged by your friend, and you just enjoy the deeper conversation because you're talking with an equal who's dedicated to get better. That's a powerful feeling, to want to get better, really, because you have somebody else who's supporting you, who understands what you're saying, who's challenging you to get better, and just having that back and forth. Even like in the past week, I've had 3 of those conversations. It's been awesome. One of those conversations outweighs 50 just hi, hello, normal, like polite questions. Those minor conversations are important to get through life, but these deep conversations open up your mind, get you to think deeper, and drive you to get better in life. So, this is not something that can be won. Like, you're always going to be going after this. It's an infinite game because you can never win it. The goal is just play as long as possible. But getting self-awareness, getting awareness of your thoughts, and just seeing the world for what it really is kind of eliminates the need for overstimulation in the first place. Not saying you can't ever listen to music or watch a movie or enjoy stuff, but you come to realize what actually is important for you, what you really prioritize in life, where you want to go. Having this clarity is the first step to get what you want in life. If you don't know what you're going to do, if your mind's always full and you can never actually think, how are you going to get to where you want to go? But thank you for watching. Have a good one. Peace!